All right, welcome everyone. This is the CHRILLCAST, and I'm Will. As you can see that Chris is not here today. I actually finally got rid of him, and now we can be a Halo-only YouTube channel. Just kidding. But I do have two special guests, Installation00 and EckhartsLadder. I go ahead and introduce you guys. Introduce yourself, guys.
Well, if you want a Halo-only podcast, I'm probably not your person. But yeah, my name is Justin. I run the YouTube channel EckhartsLadder and the gaming channel X2. I do Star Wars, YouTube, science fiction, basically whatever has my fancy. And I make videos full time. I've been doing it since about 2017. And yeah, it's been a good run.
I'm Installation00 and I make, well, almost exclusively Halo content. I've got a second channel as well. And I've been making my content now since about a year and a half. It was actually because of Eckhart that I blew up in the first place. So again, props to you for
it was your own video. I didn't do it very much.
it was yours just in the olive branch. Yeah. So to be fair, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been a pretty good run.
Yeah, for sure. You had some crazy YouTube growth. YouTube is very hard, especially to start off in the Star Wars or Halo or like another niche where there's already like 10 or 20 YouTubers.
Yeah, it's already very saturated, so finding your own foothold is pretty hard.
Yeah, exactly. You really got to do something kind of different. And for you, I guess, Installation, that's the long videos.
The most in-depth videos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was genuinely fully prepared. Like when you sort of extended the olive branch and we were going to do the collaboration, and you sort of you sent your video over to me, and I thought, right, I've just finished this script, and this is like a 30-odd minute video. I was fully prepared to send that over to you, and you'd be like, "Come on, man, I can't upload this. This is ridiculous."
No, I knew what I was getting in for, I think.
All right, that's cool.
All right, so today's Monday, so it's Manic Monday, and as always, we have a couple of quick topics and then one long topic. So the first quick topic is that Axiom Verge 2 is coming out in 2020. Have you guys played the first Axiom Verge?
No, I haven't. Not at all, actually.
Yeah, I actually haven't either. It looks really interesting, so I might pick up the first one before I get this one, but I know a lot of people think it's very cool, so good news for that.
Yeah, it looks like a sort of System Shock Metroid game, like just looking at the cover art. But no, I haven't played the first one, but I'm always down for games like that, so I'd try it out. So is that going to be on everything, or just...
I think it is. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you in a second.
It looks like quite a nice little platform gamer, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming out, though.
Yeah, there is. There's so many games coming out this year. Maybe Cyberpunk. We don't know yet. If this gets delayed again.
It's supposed to, but that's probably, for me, that's probably my most hyped game. Although I'm trying to set my expectations pretty reasonable for it, especially after seeing some of the recent gameplay footage. I think it's going to be very, very good or even excellent, but I don't think it's going to be a complete game changer like some people are hoping.
Well,
but you can customize the pube here.
I mean, there have been, sort of Deus Ex, made a pretty good push at a similar kind of genre, and so it's definitely a genre that's got its niche, and it would be interesting to see how they explore it, and if they explore it in a different kind of way, a different kind of setting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really looking forward to the launch of Cyberpunk because I want to cover some of that on the second channel, but.
Yeah, I'll definitely be doing some too. I basically started my gaming channel to have an excuse to play all these new video games that come out and technically count as work because otherwise I just don't have time. But I'm reading Neuromancer right now, which is kind of like the definitive Cyberpunk, and like it is kind of interesting to see how it, because for one thing, Cyberpunk is sort of rooted in like an era where there's no cell phones, where there's just technology is kind of fundamentally different, not really because that's how Cyberpunk has to be, just because that's when most of like the seminal Cyberpunk work came out. So I'm kind of curious to see how they'll handle that within the game. But a lot of it does seem to be like not a rip-off, but a very clear homage. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, maybe they'll have the cell phones in your teeth. It actually was a thing for a very short, brief period of time.
Sweet, I'm down with that. I know that you can like pay by like putting your hand up to somebody or something. So
yeah, cool. And then the second bit of news is that System Shock remake is coming out in 2020. I'm very excited about this. The original System Shock and the System Shock 2 are very good games.
Yeah, I'm excited too because I've tried to get into System Shock, just like I tried to get into the original Deus Ex, and I was getting a bit. Sorry, you're gonna maybe hear my neighbors saw a bit there, doing something out in the yard. But
It's very quiet.
But I tried to get into both the original Deus Ex and like the System Shock games, and they were just a bit dated for me. I don't do well with like really old games, so yeah, I'm excited too because from what I've seen, all the imagery and all the themes and stuff seem really cool. But we get that up to date a little bit, everything else, and yeah, I'm excited to give it a try.
What about you, Installation?
Again, I mean, I've not played the earlier System Shocks, but it has popped up on my radar, and I've seen sort of a little bit of the upcoming game or release, and anything that deals with sort of transhumanism and that sort of stuff is up my kind of street anyway. So yeah, I am interested.
Very cool. All right, so for the main topic, the Xbox Series X July event, what are our predictions of what they're going to show?
I don't know. I tried to make predictions for EA Play this year. Like I was expecting maybe like a Mass Effect remaster or something, and I was completely let down besides for Star Wars Squadrons. So the only real thing that I'm going in to Microsoft's event is really just Halo, because besides for that, like it seems to me that Microsoft is now basically putting even most of their exclusives on PC. And I used to be I used to only just obviously have one console because video games are expensive. So I was always an Xbox guy. But now that I've got a PC, because I can justify it with all this work I do, I'll probably just play most of my games on PC. And I haven't really been following what we're going to get for exclusives. I imagine there'll be a new car game of some sort. Of course, Halo. I hope we get some really long uncut gameplay, kind of like we did for Halo 4. We got that level in the jungle where we saw the Prometheans and stuff for the first time.
That was really cool.
That was cool. That was a good E3. So I'm hoping we get something like that, and plus maybe a more cinematic trailer as well. Maybe a look at multiplayer. I mean, I imagine they might even have a hands-on event or something. The dream would be they launch some sort of multiplayer beta as well, but maybe it's getting too late for that. I don't really know.
Yes, they haven't got a whole lot of time left on the development schedule now. I mean, any information they could glean from a beta would be they'd have to implement
they basically would have to drop it the same day for that to make any sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, after the content drought we've had for Halo, I mean, I'm practically frothing at the mouth at some sort of content to sink the teeth into and inject some new life and get some some theories generating across the community. It's just it can't come quick enough.
How'd you guys feel about the recent quasi teaser they put out and the community's reaction? Was it more than you expected? Less? What?
You mean the Banished teaser?
Yeah.
I was super pumped.
Yeah. I mean, bringing the Banished into the fold, I mean, it was already kind of hinted anyway at the end of Halo Wars 2, obviously with the arrival of the Guardian. It would kind of relatively clearly demonstrate there that the two storylines were going to overlap. As far as the community reaction's concerned, it seems like people are mixed feelings about it. I've seen a lot of hype. There's no doubt about it. People are psyched to have the Banished involved. But there also seems to be maybe a trepidation that the storyline of the Created is that they're worried it's just basically going to be left high and dry after the statement of it being sort of a soft reboot for the franchise. I can't personally see that's going to happen. I think they're going to see through the created story arc in some degree. But again, I mean, the teaser itself, not a lot really happened. It's just a confirmation that the Banished were in it. That was practically. I mean, I know there's a few people looking into the audio and seeing if there's any hidden messages. There's a suggestion there might be a Morse code hidden into the audio, but again, in the grand scheme of things, it's it's just a little, I suppose, just a little dribble of information to keep us, sort of locked on.
Do you think that's a new character, or do you think that was Atriox? It just sounded a little different.
That definitely wasn't Atriox.
Yeah, it didn't sound like him.
Yeah, it didn't have quite the same bass in his voice. And plus the character actually referenced that we are his legacy.
Oh, true, yeah.
So I mean, to be fair, it's probably not that they've killed Aatrox off. I mean, Aatrox is an awesome character, but it's probably more so this particular sort of offshoot of the Banished. I suppose because the assault carrier that Aatrox used was destroyed over Halo Wars 2. Spoiler. It means that he's unable to communicate with the rest of the Banished. So I'm guessing they're assuming that he's died.
Yeah, I don't think he is killable. He's just too angry and too strong to die.
Taking on 3 Spartan 2s and just tearing through them like tissue paper is
Yeah, I don't think he's dead, but I think that's a good, because I was wondering about that too. That was the first thing that I picked up from the trailer besides the Banished thing was the legacy, and I was like, New Halo kind of does have a history of giving untimely deaths to some of the major villains, but Aatrox is really well liked, so hopefully, I imagine they're just trying to save him for Halo Wars 3 or whatever else they've got planned, because if they just move the Banished to a mainline series thing, then the Halo Wars fans are going to feel a little offended in a way, because they don't want their series to be gutted, for the good of the main games. At least, I mean, I'm sure some are okay with it. Like, I'm not a huge Halo Wars fan, so it wouldn't be the end of the world for me, but others for sure.
Well, I mean, the first game sort of overlapped because the Prophet of Regret is in the first one, so you sort of have a villain overlap between the RTS and FPS games.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Halo
Wars 1 was a bit more self-contained, though, I think.
Yeah, that is fair.
Because they kind of have that one mission, stop the Forerunner fleet and whatever else, and then they save it, and then they kind of just float off and call it a day.
Stop the MacGuffin and end the game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of looking forward to just humanity being on the back foot again. Is as sad as that sounds. Just because over the recent games, Chief has become so powerful that nothing seems to be able to stop him, and yet it's already been demonstrated with Aatrox that he can manhandle 3 Spartan 2s like they're nothing. And the suggestion now that I'm guessing they're running with the idea that the creative have managed to kind of semi-disarm humanity and kind of force us to retreat. The idea then that humanity are actually genuinely on the back foot, and we're back to that vulnerable state, fighting for survival, and Chief is no longer the big dog on the block, so to speak, is it's quite exciting to return to that kind of dynamic that we haven't really had since Halo CE, to be fair.
Yeah, it should be interesting too to fight. I'm honestly most excited not for story, but just for fighting. I mean, this could be the first time really that you fight elites and brutes on the same team, because when you fight brutes in Halo 2, the schisms happen, so you technically can fight elites and brutes at the same time, but usually they're also fighting each other. Halo 3, you only fight brutes, so this will be the first time that you actually get to fight both, and I just personally think that the brutes are probably the most fun enemy to fight in Halo, so I'm mostly excited from a gameplay perspective, that because there are elites in the Banished, of course, there are brutes, there are all Covenant races, so yeah, that should be fun.
So, other than Halo Infinite, are there any other games that you really hope are coming out or being announced at least?
I mean, I would love to get a new Grand Theft Auto, but I don't think that's coming for another few years. I don't know. I'm excited for Star Wars Squadrons, which has been fully announced. It'd be nice to get some more footage of that, but I mean, that game's launching in October, so it's not even that far off. But I mean, between Cyberpunk, Halo, and that, I'm pretty much full for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
Probably just a shot in the dark, but I know there's been murmurs of perhaps a revival in both Crysis and Mass Effect, and I know they're probably quite a while off yet. But it would be great to have something, even something small about both of those. That'd be really good to see.
Yeah, I'd be happy even for a Mass Effect remaster, to be honest. At this point, I still haven't gotten around to playing Andromeda yet, so I guess I could play that at some point. But
you and me both.
I'm mostly just waiting to go through the trilogy again. But there's been rumors of the remaster for so long, and I just can't bring myself to sit in elevators again for that long. Hopefully that's. I was thinking we'd maybe get that at EA Play, and we didn't. But
Yeah,
Maybe
it
we'll
was a
see
little disappointing, but it's also EA, so
Yeah.
used to disappointment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping they announce a Fable. So I have been waiting for like 10 years for new Fable.
I'd say that's
And
a good guess.
yeah, I really hope so. I mean, there's been so many rumors, and they more or less have, unofficially confirmed that Playground Games is working on it. I just hope they finally announce it, because I was really thinking last year they would, but they didn't.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Fable 1. I played that game like forever. I remember they came up with like that expansion too, where you could go to the Winter Island, and man,
Yep.
I played
DLC.
the crap out of that game. I'd like 2 quite a bit, and I wasn't as into 3, but Fable 1 really stuck with me as one of my favorites. Yeah, I guess I imagine we'll get some new Gears of War too, probably. I don't know if they've got anything planned for that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, me either. What about the Xbox Series S? Do you think that's the thing? You think they'll announce it?
I honestly don't know. I don't like. For me right now, Xbox is kind of off the table. I mean, I love Xbox, but most things are like most Xbox games, as I said, come out on PC, and my PC is I already spent an assload of money on it, so I could do this stupid YouTube thing. So like, I haven't really been, and plus, they don't do a good job with the Xbox names anymore. I can hardly keep which one is which like straight. So yeah, I can't really make any predictions about that.
Okay. Would you guys think that would be like really awesome if they did? Like, as far as the business strategy, should they launch 2 at the same time?
I wouldn't say it would be a wise decision to launch two at the same time, because one's going to detract from the other. It doesn't really play to the conventional, sort of product life cycle for launching consoles. That being said, that being said, perhaps an announcement of maybe like just concept or some sort of really base level stats might be something that they'd consider, but I think it would make more sense for them to launch with the current console and push that as the main product for the time being.
So is that supposed to be like the Xbox Series X Pro, basically? Is that like what it's rumored to be, the Series S?
No, it's going to be like a lower version. So
a lower version. Okay.
Yeah, so the idea, at least like a lot of the rumors were saying, that you're going to have like the Xboxes straddling the PS5. So you can have the Series X is going to be more powerful, a little bit more money. Series S is going to be a little bit less powerful, less money.
I mean, I think they're probably looking at like what Apple does, where like they honestly price like there's certain phones really high, like the 11 Pro or whatever, they price that so high. And then the cheaper phones just become like so popular. So I mean, it could work out as a strategy. I think it works out for Apple and Android when they kind of competitively price 2 of their own products. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't know. It'd be kind of unique. Usually the like whether it's the Nintendo Switch or like the PlayStation or the Xbox, usually they'll release their more or less powered versions after. But I mean, it could be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. See why? If you're going to buy, you might as well just buy the more powerful one.
Yeah. Maybe for teens and kids, I guess. Yeah. Who are a more limited budget.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I'm definitely limited budget.
Yeah, fair enough.
I hope that they announce it's like $400. No more than that. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's so hard because we don't even know like what's in the machines yet. And I mean, I would definitely be open to getting one, but I don't know. They're gonna have to do something really convincing, like show that games run better, or like that the experience is just so much better, or just streamlined in some way that like it's just easier for me. But yeah,
if they announce a Fable, I'm buying it. Otherwise, I'll probably wait.
Yeah, like I'm wondering if that would come out. Yeah, I agree.
All right, do you guys have anything else you want to say about this?
No, I mean, I'm looking forward. This is like my favorite time of year, honestly, and it's kind of been a bummer to not be able to go to E3 or to see E3. Like, I went the past 2 years to EA Play, and it was just like an amazing experience. It's like the same week. Well, obviously, it's just like this year. It's basically the same week that E3 happens, and just like the vibe is really cool. Even just watching it, like I used to love watching the like 3-day E3 coverage on G4 or whatever else.
Yeah, G4. Oh my gosh.
So it sucks like that's gone. And I hope there's one next year, even though it is kind of a dated concept. I honestly wouldn't mind too if they just made it, if they returned it to being a press only event. Which
do you think it's coming back next year?
I don't know, because like I think a lot of companies are kind of smartening up to the fact that they can just do all this stuff on their own. And like I don't think there will be an EA Play next year because they basically did everything but for probably 1/100th of the cost without having to rent a giant convention center or anything. So yeah.
It's a shame because you do get a nice buzz from, being a load of people being in the same place for the same event.
It builds up the hype for it. Otherwise, I mean, I was looking on the computer, it's not nearly the same.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I've yet to have the pleasure to be able to get to an E3 or a PAX or anything like that, but that's certainly, if once all this shit going on in the world blows over, it'd be nice to arrange something like that. So, if nothing else, just to actually get face to face with some of the other people of the community and be, actually put names to faces and interact and do a bit of networking.
That's the best part by far.
All right. Well, with that, this has been the CHRILLCAST. As always, I'm Will.
I'm Installation00.
Justin, EckhartsLadder, whatever you're.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.